immediately after this, I would request Mr. Manjeev Singh Puri, former Indian ambassador to Nepal, Luxembourg, Belgium, and European Union, to kindly come up to the dais and give a special address. So just let me explain the format of this. Ambassador Puri will be having a discourse and then followed by Q&A that can be asked directly by the audience. Just to mention, there's no break at the moment. No tea coffees are also served outside, so I would request you to stay back as we start immediately. Thank you. May I have your attention, please? Can we request everyone to settle down as Mr. Puri is already on the dais and he's, ready to go. Kindly settle down, please. Thank you.
So, Sambit, let me start, and first of all, thank you very much. Mr. President, thank you for inviting me. Mr. President-designate, thank you also. So, I just want to tell you, why me, a retired guy? 6 years back, I left the Foreign Service. Why should I have been called here? You all have an absolute good reason to ask you. One reason is that after the official things are done, you can ask somebody who knows, but is now outside. So that's why I said I'll take some questions. Secondly, I do understand the world of business. While all the politics, etc., is important and you need to be mindful of it, at the end of the day, you need to look at what are the possibilities for you. And thirdly, if you agree, I'm a friend of this chambers. And thank you, Deb. Where are you hiding? Thank you for inviting me once earlier. This is the third time I've been here. And it's an absolute pleasure to be in the most venerable building of Indian industry. This is where it all began. The biggest chaps who are going around in Delhi all started in this building. So can you imagine what a good sense I feel about it? So thank you very much for inviting me. So I'll say some things from here, take a few things from there, 10-15 minutes, but please do ask me a couple of questions. Let me start by 3-4 things. First, let me apologize for wearing red in a green conference. Okay. I didn't do it deliberately. I just thought of it the moment back. But you understand how jarring it is. And do you realize what is happening in the world? How jarring it is for those of us, not like us, but the whole wide world. And thank you, Meeraji, for what you said. Responsible and sustainable development. And can you imagine somebody, very important somebody, gets up and simply says it's fake, it's no good, I want it erased. I want to leave one fundamental thought with all of you here. And this is the thought on something that I've spent a large part of my professional life being involved with. And of course, we use these goody words such as responsible development, sustainable, but let me get to the very crux of it for business people in the short time, which is tackling and combating, mitigating and adapting to climate change. It's not going away, no matter what one man who represents 25% of the global GDP has to say. And let me tell you another thing. It's part of India's national endeavor. So the net zero 2070 is not कि मेरी जिंदगी में नहीं है, मुझे क्या फर्क पड़ता है. Glide paths need to be set in place and you need to start getting aware of it. Because believe me, for a couple of years, you might find that the United Nations, the World Trade Organization, etc., are kind of dawdling on the idea of what to do with climate. But after that, emissions, emitted emissions, etc., will all become very, very important. I don't know how many of you trade with the European Union. How many of you trade even with Great Britain? But think about this thing called CBAM. The world I come from where Indramani Pandey comes from, and all of us, our first reaction is, it's a bad word. It's against WTO, this, that. That's all very well. But international governance is a power game of nations. When the conversations at the WTO started on services, we all walked out of the room. And today services are where they are in the setup and you can't look the other way. So, the genie is out of the bottle. And there will be technological changes. We don't know about green hydrogen, nuclear fusion, small modular reactors. Lots of things are going to happen. Solar energy, wind energy, all of that will happen. But be mindful in your industry that right from get-go, start being mindful of the need to look at carbon in your entire set of things. The earlier you adjust, the more comfortable will you be. Because let me tell you, 2-3 years you may look the other way, but after that the pressure on what you're doing and the measurability, the MRVs as they call it, measurable reporting and verifications will start getting more and more embedded even in our system, even as we try and buy policy space internationally, because it's a national endeavor of ours. This is the first major point I want to make to everyone. Please keep yourself focused on what was your focus till January of 2025. This is okay for those guys, but for us in India, it's important because climate change is real. And let's be focused on the question of carbon embedded or otherwise. And for those of you who trade with the European Union, etc., well, the government will try to negotiate whatever it can, segues, exceptions, ways out for a little while. At best, it's buying time. And so, therefore, get yourself, as they say, company ready for what happens. Now, let me take you to another aspect. Mr. Donald Trump and the tariffs. What was I reading as I was coming here? And this is something that's happened in the past. How come Bangladesh is such a major player in the area of textiles? I think most of you are adults in the room and know exactly what's happened. It wasn't great entrepreneurs in Bangladesh. It was great entrepreneurs in India who discovered Bangladesh. Remember the multi-fiber arrangements? I think those of you who are in textile will know it. And this time they've got 20% tariffs. You know where we are negotiating. And while maybe that other penalty issue with Russia depends on, things which are not really in the race because you don't know why it's being done to you. That may come or not. Our base rate is of a higher order. And so what is the negotiations that you're going to get? Nepal is 10%. Already there are people looking around. Will this kind of thing be allowed? I don't know the answers. Because as I said, all of this is the obverse of the flag. It's all power. Especially the largest nation in the world. And they don't hesitate to use that power. So you send goods from here. Yesterday, Meeraji was telling me that some of her friends sitting in Bangalore have tied up with their friends in Vietnam to shift manufacture there and send because Vietnam's tariffs are at least known. Good idea, ma'am. You can do it if you're small. Can you think of Tirupur doing it in India? Or can you think of the largest jewelry manufacturers doing it? But the government guys are. For all of you who are in that industry, be cognizant of what is happening. Whatever the government gives you over and above that is, what do I say, cherry on the cake. But be cognizant that these are real issues. But now let me come to something completely different. Mr. President, when did you think about doing this conclave on Indo-Pacific? You mentioned to us that this is the 3rd edition. So you thought of it in the midst of something which does not include what is being talked about here, the largest global conglomerate, not at all. The 2nd largest economy was your opposite end of this Indo-Pacific. This is a construct in the context of so-called democracies against the non-democracy in our region. But what a good idea that things have changed. How many of you would have thought in, let me say, February of 2025, that we would actually have a lessening of the tensions with our northern border and a desire to open up trade routes and not let it be only the largest companies managing to get trade. They are our 2nd largest trading partners, by the way, despite whatever we say. How many of you would have ever thought of that? The answer is, for your own company, yes, but not otherwise, and you won't say it. And so, it's very nice that BIMSTEC can today boast that Chinese are also part of them. What about the United States? I said lots of those small islands are American islands, by the way. So this is a concept, and this is a construct. But the fundamental construct that you should know is, it highlights to the world and highlights to everyone that this is an area of immense, if I dare say, perhaps the replacement for the great transatlantic, where otherwise everything happened between Europe and the United States. And so therefore, look where you are sitting, at one end of this possibility. And this is where BIMSTEC, ASEAN, all the rest of these organizations, they have their own roles to play. But fundamentally for you, you are in a fortunate geography. That's the thought I want to leave with you. I know where you come from. I know the state. I know all of these particular issues that you all face for. And then I come to the next point, because I don't want to talk too much about myself, just leave these ideas with you. I am particularly thrilled, Sambit, to you, to the Secretary General. I want to say thank you for inviting my colleague from Nepal. Where are you, my dear friend from Nikki? Are you around? You're sitting where? Yeah, he's sitting right at the back. Please stand up. Nepal India Chamber of Commerce and Industry. How many of you know, please sit, thank you. How many of you know that Nepal has had a representative office, a consulate general in Calcutta from about 1790 onwards? Did you know that, sir? Why do you think they have it? Because you were the big route to them. Do you know that they have always ranked as among 10 largest trading partners of India, but given our open borders, I dare say that they've always been among the five largest trading partners of India. Do you know they're the third largest importers of steel from India, by the way? Many people won't even imagine of that. And I'm not talking about what Trump's tariffs, etc., could do to this entire business. Why am I saying this to you? It's something that I've been saying for many years. You, Calcutta in particular, Bengal completely, have been the most critical and wonderful gateway for Nepal. Of course, today everybody looks at New Delhi, looks at Bengaluru, looks at Bombay. That's where Bollywood is. Bangalore, that's where the IT industry is. The Nepalese have one of the largest concentration of Nepalese boys and girls in the IT sector. And my own sort of expressions of all this is that Nepal started off as Banaras, being the epicenter of giving them everything. Between Banaras and Calcutta, the Communist Party of Nepal was set up and the Nepali Congress was set up. And yet today, the idea is all Bengaluru. So it's Banaras to Bengaluru, but why should we leave out Calcutta? I'm glad to see the Customs Commissioner here, sir. You have a particularly important role to play. The Nepalis are looking around to do Visakhapatnam. They want to do something on the west coast and we can't deny it to them. The only way, while not legally denying it, but letting the game happen the way it's happened, is for you to be competitive, for you to be engaged, and for you to be totally on it. It's an economy which has opened tremendously, poor as they may be, tremendously open to the world. I wonder how many of you have businesses in North Bengal. Do you know this state of yours is one of those extraordinary states in India which has 3 international borders? One everybody knows. I will not talk about it. We have Secretary General of BIMSTEC to tell us what's happening in Dhaka. What can I say about Bhutan? You should all know. Let me talk about Nepal because I was the ambassador there. I have a particular good feeling for them. Do you know the kind of interactions that take place on the eastern border of Nepal and the northern part of West Bengal? Sir, I want to ask how many of you maybe have a hospital in that area, an education institution in Siliguri. Has anybody seen the malls in Siliguri? When I was ambassador, Yogi Adityanath ji became the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. Obviously, I got to know him quite well. I used to go and visit him. And he would invariably ask me, "Acha, humko karna kya chahiye?" Much to the amusement as well as the chagrin of many of his officials, I would tell him, "Sir, malls kholiye border pe." I went to Gorakhpur about a few months back, and there are some of the biggest malls there. You think they are being populated by Indians from Gorakhpur going to the malls? The malls are full. You've seen the malls in Siliguri, by the way. How many of you have been to Siliguri? You've seen the malls there? Kolkata se log ja raha hai us mall mein kharidne ke liye. You've seen the opportunities that right on your border, an open border. Mr. Chairman, Mr. President Designate, sir, let me say this to you in this open forum. Please Bangladesh, I can't get it out of your head. It's part of your DNA. Bhutan, maybe you don't even think about it. It's a rich country in any way. The richest country in SAARC and, I don't know, between Maldives and them, they are competing at a level way beyond us. Do something for Nepal structurally and institutionally. Why do I say this to you? Because you are facing tremendous competition. Today, the commissioner is handling the maximum amount of trade that happens to them. Believe me, there are many others who say there's no need of doing it from here. And you need to push this up. And maybe something in North Bengal, particularly important for you to do. So again, as I want to say, within this Indo-Pacific construct, but particularly the construct of BIMSTEC, you know, India's trade with China, you will benefit, the whole country will benefit. Much of that trade, given the size of the containers, is not even coming to us in the first place. It's going to Sri Lanka because you can't handle those kind of containers. And then it's being transshipped all across, including here, to your port here. That will in any case happen. ASEAN, Your Excellency, thank you very much for telling everyone, a good Commonwealth country, to remind us in English language that the ASEAN and we are huge trading partners. What is the volume? About $120 billion a year. We are having issues with the FTI with ASEAN. It's in the public domain. I'm not sharing something. Again, you guys have to make your voice. What do you think about the idea? While sitting in Delhi, you know, people do have this particular issue. They've got to manage things. They've got to manage perceptions. They've also got to manage the balance of payments, balance of trade. But what does the businesses think? What do you have to say about it? So we need to think through this. Today it's the other way around, 2/3, 1/3. And we can keep saying, we give them too much, but that's not it. What are you doing in being able to reach those markets? They are some of the greatest, fastest growing markets in the world. We have this particular issue. So I'll stop now, I'll take some questions if you want to. I was just a filler session. I was a filler here because there are going to be some substantive sessions they are talking about it. But I have the luxury of being able to level with you all. To tell you exactly what as businessmen you should think in terms of these geopolitical things in your neighborhood, in the global ecosystems, and of course in the extended neighborhood that you're facing. So I believe, no matter the past, the recent past, the old glorious past doesn't matter. You have opportunities. As India heads towards Viksit Bharat 2047, we also carry Net Zero 2070, and we look at the expanding possibilities. Coming back to the good old story, where Indo-Pacific looked at, and you were right, sir, you had to call characters like me to tell you what is the strategic implication. Hum ye kar sakte hain, nahi kar sakte. Today it is, wow, we're the biggest, the best. Guys, transatlantic, we're already there. That's the nature of it. Thank you very much. Let me take some questions from you guys. No one, everyone wants something serious? Or there's chai samosas after that? There is a question. Oh, wow. Thank you, sir.
It just struck me.
Yes, sir.
We have a Tajpur port. Tajpur deep sea port. Can it be like Chabahar, that Nepal and India together develop it?
Sir, in terms of the legal things, the principal port for Nepalese imports is yours right here. They asked, after many, many, many years, I think we allowed a second entry point at Visakhapatnam. This is for us to do, our government to do, isn't it? And are you in a position, first of all, is the port ready? Is it state of play? They want it immediately, isn't it? The port is ready. Once it gets ready, it's for you to persuade the government of India to try and see what happens. After all, it's only infrastructure, isn't it? Today, why are we talking about Calcutta port? We can ask the Commissioner of the Customs. It's because it's third country transit. We don't have too many experiences of all that in India. We're such a large economy. Do the Indian Customs deal anywhere other than Calcutta with third country? They don't. Because what is there? You import something in Nhava Sheva, do you export it anywhere else? Nowhere. You levy your customs duties, you do everything. Here, you need to do a little bit of that transshipment. There are some rules and regulations evolved over, if I may say so, 60, 70 years. But can we stretch it to Tajpur? Why not? In my opinion, all this is doable. These are man-made things. But you, as the chamber, your political leadership, You have to lean on both sides and make that possible. But remember, it's not just the policy decision. You have to have the infrastructure which makes it a much more sensible place for businesses to do business. Yes, sir. Something very nice about the right side of this hall.
Good afternoon, sir. So my question is, firstly, thank you for lightening up the atmosphere. I am a working IT professional, not a businessman, but I have been associated with firms like Tata. I have 18 years of professional experience, and my question is slightly digital. In 2022, I had an idea which I shared with my management, which is relating to ESG, which is our theme. So my idea was basically around neutrality, net neutrality about by 2070, which India wants to achieve. UK wants to achieve it by 2040. Now my idea was very simple, to optimize the waste which happens in digital space, the electricity bills which go up, which can be reduced by a factor of 90%, which is like significant savings. And I had some projects which gave me the numbers for UK market, which would have been $1 million, or rather £1 million project for TCS. The idea was ridiculed because my management was like, Jayant, no one understands ecology, no one cares about environment, and it was kind of shown the way. 2022 February, Ukraine, Russia, we all know what has happened and what is happening right now. Energy prices go skyrocketing in Europe. UK government sends everyone letter, including me, I was in UK at that time, 50% energy bills will go up from 1st of April. BT was my client. BT would have taken that project. BT would have taken it at maybe double the price if TCS had the software ready. Now my question is regarding the mindset. We as Indians have a mindset of followers. We are not the leaders yet. We are talking to the world Vishwa Guru. Are we gurus? And if we were to become a guru, what is that change? My generation has lost it. I am going to be 40 years in the next calendar year. I know my generation, we can't lead. I can't lead. I will never be allowed to lead. So I had to leave that organization because I knew if I were to become a CEO by 60, I never have a chance in that organization. So what will you tell me, people of my age, people who are younger than me, who are aspiring to open up startups, what should they be doing to become world leaders in a true sense? That's my question, sir. Thank you.
Wonderful. Look, I'm first of all very happy at whatever you've been doing, thinking, companies taking it forward or not. You will appreciate, as somebody who's grown in this corporate world, that, they have their own thinking processes. And whether it's the balance sheet, the bottom line, etc., there are reasons why decisions get taken. But I want to parse your question. One is the philosophical side, what should I say to motivate you, etc. The other is the question of ESG. Whether we like it or not, in India and even in Europe, where a degree of climate fatigue is being seen. After all, the Greens didn't do well in the German elections. But the fact is, and the Europeans may be trying to shift a little bit of their climate responsibilities onto large developing countries like India, China, and for good reasons from their own thinking, not from our perspective. The fact is, they remain committed to climate action. And so therefore, ESG, these sort of ideas remain important there. Now, why did British Telecom not take up your idea? I can't answer that because I'm not aware of exactly what happened. I've only heard you. So, what is the degree of actual practicality? We can't get into this. But believe me, there is a tremendous space for that. Today in India, if I cut out the noise from across the Atlantic Ocean, where it is you erase climate change, I won't send even scientists to participate in the IPCC meeting. We will remove it from NASA. We'll remove the laboratories. If we erase that noise from our space, if you keep buying it, there's no end to it. There is space in India. And there's great space for doing ESG-related work. There's great space for doing waste reduction. There's great space for decarbonization. Believe me, it's very important. What can I say to a 40-year-old? You're a young man, sir. What are you doing? Keep at it. Believe me, it's not just the government talking about startups and investing in them. People are interested. This is perhaps one of those countries where no matter how difficult it is, startup finance is possible, and you have opportunities here. Do it, publish, make the effort. Look, the attitude has to be can do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. What a power-packed filler it is, straight away from Delhi. I would now request our former president, Mr. Debe Mukherjee, to kindly come up to the dais and hand over a token of our appreciation to Mr. Manjeev Singh Puri, please. Somebody said he has powered the atmosphere, so we should have a power-packed applause.